Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Charlotte. We are so delighted to have you all here. I'm Reverend Lisa Herklotz. I'm co-minister along with Reverend Jim Ernstsen. And to those here in the sanctuary, welcome. If you're watching us on Zoom, we're glad you joined us this morning. And if you might be watching this on YouTube afterwards, thanks for checking us out. We're always glad to have everyone here. We'd like to open our service by saying our mission statement out loud together. This is giving vibration and energy to the purpose for Unity of Charlotte. So please join me. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. Thank you. I want to first find out if we have anyone here for the first time visiting. If you just gently raise your hand and let me know. All right. Well, if there's anyone new online and you would like to get information about Unity, we'd love to know. Just put your name and email address in the chat, and Alan, our Zoom extraordinaire leader, will take that and make sure you get a new visitor packet. So you can find out everything that's going on at Unity in many different ways. We have our website. We have our new weekly newsletter that goes out. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Bluesky. Please check those out. And if you're there, like us. And then we also have a YouTube channel where all of our Sunday services are posted, along with some short reels. So if you just want to get a little snippet of inspiration, a minute or two, they're awesome. I invite you to check those out. And then, of course, if you're here in person, we have our bulletin board. You can always look on there to see everything we have going on. And now I invite you to come and join me in a time of prayer. Let's take a deep cleansing breath in. Let it out on a long, slow exhale. Just feel yourself letting go of the outer world, the outer stimulus, and come within to a place in your heart. Prayer is a time when we come apart from the world and reconnect to our divine source. And remember and claim the power, the qualities, the attributes, and the resources that have been given to us through God. They are always available, always ready, and awaiting us to reconnect to that place within us that is eternal, to hear the wisdom that guides us on how to utilize these powers, and know how to step out into this world as the light that Jesus asked us to be. Today, we claim the light within, and we shine it forth in every situation and to every person we meet. And to even those we don't meet but we know of through the news, through stories, through any connection, because indeed we are one, everything is connected. And as we shine this light forth, spirit is awakened in those hearts that still sleep in fear and in darkness. This light shines to every heart and mind. And we see this happening. We see the awakening, and we see a world that knows its connection, lives in harmony, and expresses its individual creativity to its full expression. In joy and gratitude for that divine source which gives us all these possibilities, I say thank you, and so it is. Now, with your eyes still remaining closed, I want to open this time now for some silent space and ask you to speak aloud into this sacred space a name or a situation that you would like to uplift in prayer. Please do that now. World leaders. Marie, Barbara. And together we claim the presence and the power of Spirit working in and through each and every person and situation named aloud, knowing that power is guiding, comforting, and supporting them to the right and best outcome. And so it is. I join you now in, I ask you to join me in saying the Unity Prayer of Oneness out loud. There is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God the good, omnipotence. We claim and affirm this presence in our lives as love. Just a reminder, once again, we have a prayer team. They receive your prayer requests. So if you want to, that name you spoke out, if you want to increase that prayer power, go outside, write their name, the situation. It can be anonymous. It doesn't matter. Your request will be heard. Put it in the box. That request gets sent to our prayer team where they pray over it for 30 days. It then gets sent to Silent Unity where it gets prayed over for another 30 days. You can use the prayer box here, but we also have a form online. So anything you want to uplift in prayer, utilize this service. It is a very heart-given service through the people who do these prayers for you. Everything's kept in complete confidentiality, and it's a very powerful way to bring Spirit alive. All right, I'd like now to invite up Kathy to do our daily word reading.
Today's word is wholeness. And the affirmation is, wholeness is the unshakable, eternal truth of me. It is comforting to remember, no matter what may happen to me in the world, I am always whole. Even during times of illness or insufficiency, my true nature is of divine wholeness. Worldly situations will always be in a state of flux, changing and shifting in ways I cannot control. I do what I can to tend to my health and other material needs, but I do not worry over things I can't control. Instead, I rely upon my prayer life and other spiritual practices to claim my wholeness. This is the enduring truth of who I am, whole and complete, regardless of any outside circumstance or appearance. How liberating it is to know that I am secure in God and complete at all times, spiritually perfect and infinitely blessed. For in him, the whole fullness of deity dwells bodily, and you have come to fullness in him, who is the head of every ruler and authority. And that's from Colossians chapter 2, verses 9 and 10.
My name is Reverend Jim Ernstsen. Hey, good to see you. Good morning. I'm looking around this chapel, and I can honestly say I see no victims here. Alan, how many folks we have at home? We've got 3 folks there. I know that we've got folks from other cities, other states, and I can honestly say that there are no victims with us here today on Zoom. And I know that there are going to be folks that watch this talk later on YouTube. And again, I know there are no victims that are watching this at home at a different time. At the same time, I know that life happens. Sometimes there's a bump in the road, a pothole, sometimes a big one. So things do happen. But where do we start in terms of what do we do when that happens? We begin right where we are, is what I'm going to say. Doesn't matter what happened, doesn't matter what it is. If it's a big thing, a small thing, we start where we are. There's no bypass. We're not going to pretend that the thing didn't happen. There's no pretending going on at all. What others may label as our wounded self is not something that we hide or deny, but what I'm saying is that it's a gift that we have, this thing. I chose the graphic that we're using here because those things that happen in our world, these are the signal fires that show us when we need to take a look at something. That signal fire that you see on the screen there is a sacred signal fire. It's used to communicate something where we're at any moment and what we're feeling usually. Think of it as sharing important news for us. That thing that showed up, that pothole happened, we usually feel it. That's the sacred fire that's shown up. That's the communication that's gone on. Think of it as some important news that's being shared with your soul, if you might want to think of it that way. That signifier shows up in different ways in our world as well. Sometimes a lost hiker, actually I should have talked to Brady about this, and I didn't do the research properly, because he probably knows better than most of us about what you do when you get lost. If you're by yourself and you get lost out in the woods, what happens? And sometimes we can start that signal fire in order to become rescued. How does somebody find us to help us out? Well, you start that fire. First of all, I looked up a little bit, did a little bit of research. You start it, you find a safe spot. So you don't want to do it where things can happen. A riverbed, let's say, and it's starting to rain. Maybe it's the top of a hillside. You want to be visible. You want to allow that smoke to rise so that you're visible to other people in the area. Think about the movies you've seen, the war movies you've seen. That's a signal fire as well. If you're trying to get rescued within the military, there are smoke signals that you can set up. You let that flare show a green smoke, that signifies that it's a safe landing zone, and that helicopter can land. It's safe. A red smoke would say that helicopter's moving into a hot zone, and they know what to do at that point as well. So the signal fires, the signals, are there to communicate for us as well as for others as well. So again, life happens to us. We notice when we see that signal fire going on. We probably more than likely feel it before we notice anything else. And we need to tell ourselves and realize that this is not a weakness in any way. This is how we're made. This is how we're put together. This is how it works. We feel it, and it's not a weakness. But it's a signal. It's part of the process. This is normal in our lives. But this is not our place to live forever. We do not create a victim story and carry it with us for the next 50 years, is what I'm telling us. We use that as a process and we move through it, but we don't identify with it and carry it with us as well. When we are feeling that pain, Again, we're not dismissing it. And in the Old Testament, Psalms 23 is probably one of the most quoted scriptures in the Old Testament. Anybody? Psalms 23. Yea, though I walk through the shadow of valley of the and then I will fear no evil. Absolutely. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Listen to what that's telling us. That shadow, that pain that we might feel when we hit that bump in the road, we acknowledge it. It's there. And look what it says. We walk through that valley. We don't set up camp. We don't build a cabin there. We walk through it. This is a purpose-led thing. We feel it. We know it. We acknowledge it. We walk through that valley. Another way of thinking about it is that we were wounded once, we felt it deeply, or we feel it deeply if we're still working on it. We feel it deeply, and we heal ourselves. That is the process. We heal ourselves. Our Lent booklet that we've been going through over the last 30-some days, 40 days total, is where I got today's talk, as it mentions and goes through the idea of releasing. In this case, it was releasing our victim story, releasing our self-pity, and reimagining our lives without that. That's what this booklet is telling us. We refuse to camp in that valley of the shadow of death. That signal fire as well is a fire meant to get our attention. It's meant to draw us inward. It's not meant to set up a series of, oh, now I can blame somebody or something outside myself. It is used to identify something is happening, but then to go inside. It's not a blame mechanism. It's not to push us outward into a blame story. It's to draw us inward, to find out how we can move through that. That signal fire says, pause here, because there's something here for you. There's something here to work on. If you want to release this, if you want to feel better, here's your chance. This is what we're going to do. Pause and work on it. When the signal fire appears, most of us are tempted to look outward. Hey, this thing happened in my life here today. Who or what is the cause of this? And what's happened to me? But the spiritual invitation is to turn inside for us here today. In the New Testament, Matthew 6 has the words of Jesus that says, but seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all those things shall be given to you. All these things shall be given to you. So let me ask everybody here, as we metaphysically interpret this verse from the Bible, there's a kingdom. The kingdom is where? Say it out loud. The kingdom is where? In here. In here. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is here, right here inside of me, not anywhere else out there. And that's what they're saying. Seek first. Go inside first. Not identify the thing out there that's happened, or the person that's hurt me, or the thing that's I'm blaming. Go inside first. And then seek what? Seek, what are we doing when we go inside? Seek our divine presence. Seek the divine presence we know is there, inside, is in our heart. That love that we feel and know when we connect to each other, when we go within, that is the love of the divine. That's where our awareness of the divine presence lives. Seeking first means before I react to all those external things, before I start fixing, running around fixing, before I start creating my new victim story, I turn inside. That's the first thing I do. I turn inside. And then the scripture says, Matthew 6 says, something will happen. Then what? Something will be given. All these things will be given to you, is what it says. And this is the knowing what to do next. This is where we ask. I've hit this pothole. I'm not going to blame. I'm going to move within. But I need some help in identifying what my next best thing is that I'm going to do. That's all the things that will be given to you. So you see the three parts of this verse within Matthew here. And that's what the booklet talks about here. It talks about that all these things will be given to you is the reimagining, is the letting go of that story. Maybe even before you create it, but sometimes those old stories need to be reimagined. It's letting go of that, reimagining what is the truth in our lives. What is the truth in our lives? It's not that we're a victim. That is not the truth. I'm saying, and I hope you believe me by the time I'm finished here with this talk. The sacred signifier is the call. It's that first thing that we do here. We notice it. We're not bypassing it. We're moving through that. We're entering into our awareness within. Those feelings are the guidance that we feel, the identity of our divine presence. And then we move into expanded awareness of that as well. We allow something deeper to happen, to arise in our lives. Something that's more meaningful, something that's more useful. Because if I sit and wallow in that story, that's not useful for me. And I know that you've gone through that, and it's not useful either. You know that, but sometimes it's easy to just recall that story over and over again. Instead, we rise up from that. We reimagine that. We heal that thing. That's what we're doing. We're healing and reimagining that hurt that we felt. We've noticed the signal fire, we felt it, and now we're reimagining it as well. We're moving through that. So we've answered our questions. What was that kingdom which was within? We're seeking it, and we're noticing all the things that were given to us internally. So we're moving through that valley that we've read about in the Old Testament. The victim story says that this thing happened to me. Let me say that again. The victim story said this thing happened to me. That's me feeling wounded at any given moment. Instead, our spiritual awareness says something is moving through me, and I am larger than it. I'm moving through this process. I'm not setting up camp in the valley of the shadow. And I am moving through it. I am larger than this thing. I refuse to identify with it any longer. And I'm here to tell us as well, and this is a lesson for me as much as anyone else, that there is nothing in your world that you can't move through and get to the other side. There is nothing that gets you stuck forever. There is nothing that I cannot move through. I am supported as well. I am supported through the knowledge of my Christhood in this life. I am supported by my community, the people I'm sitting around, the people that I call my tribe at any given moment. I'm supported in this life. I am never alone. It could be a prayer request. It could be a call. It could be a coffee with a friend. I'm never alone. And the divine is always right here for me to touch whenever I need it. That signifier does not come to consume us, it comes to guide us through this process. So when we think of our practicality, what is the practicality? Because we do like to talk about unity, the unity movement as being practical Christianity. What we put feet onto our lessons, what is it when we hit that pothole that we can do? How do we embody moving through this thing? How do we embody the reimagining of this thing instead of staying with that victim story? We embody this teaching that we talk about over and over again. Because I notice the signifier, I can tell myself, I am aware. We notice. That's a thing that we can do. That's practical. When I feel uncomfortable, I notice it. I tell myself, something's going on here. What is it? I get to the bottom of it. I notice it. I become aware of it. Because I seek within, I gain clarity. I go within. We've talked about that already. This is where we find the clarity for the next thing that we do. I seek within and I find clarity. Because I move through this thing, I become steady. I feel confident. I've done it before. I've hit a pothole before. I've worked these steps. And I've come out the other side whole and better off because of it. Maybe even with a friend to help me through the next one if I've reached out. So I become steady in this process. I've practiced it once before. And because I'm present in this process, because I know how to go through it, I embody these steps that we're talking about. Now I can be present for others. I can be the one that somebody else calls. I can be the one that answers a text when somebody says, "Hey, I'm feeling kind of crappy today." I can offer up a prayer for them. I can invite them to a cup of coffee. "Hey, have you had lunch yet? Why don't you meet me over at Panera's?" Whatever it is, I can be present for others here as well. When we have learned to sit with our own signifiers, when we become calm to that presence, we can stand steady for others as well. So that signifier, no matter how many times we've already gone through it, it's going to come again, right? We know that something else will show up in our lives to give us a little bump. It's going to happen. So we know that. We know it's going to happen. And maybe again and again in our lives. And this is not as punishment. We know within the unity movement, this is not punishing us for something we've done. Why did this thing show up in my life? It's not punishment. I can tell you, it's just part of who we are. It's part of our world. And there are multiple ways that we can look at it that might be helpful. We're not going to go into that here today. But we know that it's not punishment. But we can think of it as guidance. Maybe it's practice for us to get through this thing, and then we can help somebody else. It's guidance. It's not proof that something has gone wrong in our lives, that I deserve to be punished. That's not what it is, but it's evidence that something needs to be reimagined. That's all. It's just evidence that we need to work on that in our thought system. We feel it, we think about it, we reimagine it, and we walk through it. Hear me, we don't avoid it. We don't push it. We walk through it. Charles Fillmore talks, and you've reminded me of this a couple weeks ago. We treat these things that we move through not as heavy things that we need to put a shoulder up against and move, but as a cobweb. We gently move them aside, and then we walk through. It's a gentle denial that this thing has any power within my life. That's part of the reimagining process. We gently move it aside. We deny it has power, we move aside, we reimagine what is truth within our lives from that part on. And you know this. This lesson I'm giving, this talk I'm giving here today is nothing new. You've heard either me, Reverend Lisa, or another minister say these words in different ways. This is not something new within our lives. You know this. I'm here to tell you, you can do this. And you know you can do this as well. This is an absolute thing within our lives. All these words are just reminders from us that we're moving into our heart and moving through something. I'm here to tell you that you've got this. I know each and every one of you, here and out there, you've got this. I've got an affirmation that I'd like us to say out loud here today. So, together with me, I honor the signal. I seek within. I trust the presence that carries me through. Does that speak to you? If it speaks to you, take it with you in this next week. If not, switch it up. Change it up a little bit. Let's say it one more time with a little more gusto. I honor that spirit. I seek within. I trust the presence that carries me through. If this makes sense to you in any way, again, this is my question. I honestly want to know if this makes sense to you. Let's give each other some love and appreciation. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go ahead and move into meditation. I invite you to move around, uncross your legs, plant your feet on the ground if that's comfortable. We want to ground ourselves, feel the energy from the earth. Find a place for your hands. If that's in your lap, your palms can be up, your palms can be down. They can be folded like the Buddhists maybe do. Gently closing your eyes if that feels right. But we also have the candle on the screen if you want to keep your eyes open and that makes sense for you. Here that very gentle music in the background that's meant not to distract you, but simply maybe give you something to focus on. And I invite you to find your breath. And what I mean by that is to notice your breath. Feel the inhale. Feel the exhale. Notice that cycle that happens over and over again. That inhale. That slight pause before we move into the exhale. And then the pause on the other side before you start your next inhale. Notice all 4 pieces of that breath. Feel that inhale. Notice that exhale. I invite us here today to feel that and know that strength within ourselves that moves us through whatever we're working on. That strength is given to us. Not something that we have to gain because we've always had it. We might be rediscovering it for the 100th time, but we do. We already have that strength, but we notice it. Give yourself credit for it. Know that you'll use that strength the next time you move through whatever it is you're working on. That spiritual quality of strength is there every time you need it. And you might find it through your practice of prayer on a daily basis. Maybe it's during your meditation. You remind yourself that strength, and it allows you to sit up a little taller, to feel that and know that. That strength in our lives shows us through consciousness that these worldly circumstances that happen, these potholes that show up in our lives, do not dictate our reality. We move through them with strength and grace out the other side. Expanding that consciousness, acknowledging our spiritual lives. That is our reality. I take another breath and I move a little bit deeper within. Each exhale a little deeper into this process. Knowing that I join all that are here with me, all that are online. We come together knowing and joining in that divinity. We are one with that divine spirit. And we spend the next minute or so focused on that breath in silence. as we begin to come out of that silence. Before we open our eyes, we claim that strength of who we are, knowing that it is ours. We let that knowledge expand with every breath that we take. We are blessed with that knowledge. We begin to feel the room around us. We begin to feel the person next to us, front, back, left, and right. We start to open our eyes when that feels right.
Whatever one you pick, it's just for you. So there's many different ways of consistent giving. You've seen that slide. Just know that you can donate via text, via online, through our giving bowl, but we are encouraging consistent givers, because consistent giving means that there's a set amount that's given each month. Really helps us do our budgeting and make sure that we're able to continue to financially maintain this organization. But for every gift we receive, we are so eternally grateful, and we bless it, and we know it multiplies. So please say together with me our abundance blessing as you hold your gift, whether it's physically with you or something you've given before. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. We are light, love, power, and presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.